I get a bit nervous, that's what it is. And as soon as I get into it, I'm like, right, guys, this is chapter 14, Lukemode podcast, and I've got a returning guest, Earle.
Here I am.
This time around, we are going to talk a bit more about 2025, coaching, and bodybuilding as well, and a few clients which he's took on past, couple of weeks?
Yeah.
So this episode is going to be a bit different than the first one, because from the first one to this one, he's done a lot more. You progressed a lot more as well.
Been a busy guy. Definitely been a busy guy. Yeah.
Let's get into why coaching? What drives you to do coaching?
I think honestly, it's nice to be in a position, and it is genuinely a privilege to be in a position where I'm able to bestow what knowledge I do have, and I've got a lot to learn still.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of variables to learn within the fields of fitness coaching. But to be able to help people out, to pass on a bit of knowledge, especially in my case. I mean, I know a lot of guys I know within this area have done bodybuilding. They've had older mentors around. I never had that privilege when I was younger. Everything I've learned through myself. Yeah. I've had odd people along the way help me out. Don't get me wrong, that's not taking nothing away from them, but I'm talking in my early days of being 16, 17, 18, whichever. But because I never had that, I've always wanted to be that for someone, because I know people out there will be in my position where they want to bodybuild and they want to progress, but they might not know how to.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, you can look online. Obviously, we've all got the there's so many different platforms we can learn from now. Whether it be through Google, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, like you say. But then there's so many different contradicting things, and I think for someone who's new into the sport, it's very overwhelming, because at the end of the day,
so much more information now.
Exactly, and everyone's different. Everyone's body mechanics are different. Yeah. Everyone works differently, irrespective of what any coach believes.
Everyone offers something different.
Exactly.
As well.
Yeah, exactly. You know so, at the end of the day, if it was all the same, then there'd only be one body type. We'd all be like an endomorph. We'd all be a mesomorph. We'd all be an ectomorph. So, but it's not that straightforward.
But bodybuilding is a very good sport to be in. Since I've been here, I'll now look at people as well, they've got potential. Do you know what I mean? I look at people a lot differently now than I did when I was doing other stuff. So and especially around this area, especially in this gym as well, and other gyms, a lot of potential. Yeah. And obviously you've got a couple of guys from this gym.
Yeah.
Competing next year.
Yes.
Hey, he's gonna love this.
So I've got a couple of lads here. Obviously, most people know who these, especially within the gym anyway. We've got obviously Jason, who's going to be competing. Yeah. March 31st, first timers. What class is he going to be in? He'll be Masters Physique. And then we've got Matt going into Masters Bodybuilding over 40s.
Oh. He's not 48 by the way, or 49, right?
Yeah.
He's definitely lying.
Forged his ID.
Yeah.
But he's but they're both looking forward to it. And honestly, as clients go, I'm very happy with both of them. They put the effort in, and I'll never be one of these coaches. I've had coaches like it, but take the credit for what you do in the gym, what you do behind closed doors. At the end of the day, as a coach, I'm only here to help guide them, to give them that little bit of knowledge, and to try and lead them lead them in the right direction the best I can. But at the end of the day, Jason and Matt, they're the guys that are putting the hard work in here. They're the ones doing it. I'm not running for them. I'm not lifting the weights for them. I'm not supplementing for them. I'm not cooking for them. I'm not doing all the dieting. They're doing that themselves.
You're giving them tools, bosh, mate.
Exactly, and they're both smashing it. They're well ahead. But that's exactly what I wanted. I don't want them to struggle through prep. I want them to be able to sort of coast through it. Yeah, obviously it's going to get tough when you get a month out or whatever. Of course, it would be tough for absolutely anyone. But you'll find out for yourself. You will find out. But obviously my job is to make it as easy for them as possible, without any sort of health repercussions, without any injuries, without any digestive issues, whatever it may be, anything that might set them guys back. I don't want that to happen. I want them to keep going forward. Still enjoy prep along the way as well. Still, so they can have a little off-plan meal in and stuff, or some high carb days. Because if you're constantly chasing yourself, you're never going to have them, and you're just running flat the whole way through, and you'll be miserable.
Like shit, I guess.
I've been there and done it, mate, and that's why, my mentality with the whole not putting on too much weight in the off season. I've done it, and I suffered the whole way through a prep. And guess what? I won't a lot to show for it at the end of it. So it's.
That is the new way to go, though. It
is. I think people realise that. At the end of the day, every coach has got a coach, and the higher these coaches go, and you get to the pro level coaches and stuff like that. Well, funnily enough, none of them get 60, 70 pound over their stage weight. Why is that?
Does it go back to the Lee Priest days, when he gained so much weight, didn't he?
Yeah, it's a weird one with Lee Priest, because it's like with everyone. There's always that anomaly, and he is exactly that. He was a genetic freak,
What,
though. 5'4", 5'5". Yeah, he weren't tall, but he was a giant killer for a reason, wasn't he? He was
I believe as well. Did he beat Ronnie Coleman?
He did. He beat the lot. He beat
1 year.
Yeah.
I've read. I don't know how true that is, but I've read about that.
Yeah.
He was like, he never won Mr. Olympia, did he?
No.
But he won.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Because it almost comes as a shock to people that these shorter guys can beat taller guys. But then if you go through the history of bodybuilding, funnily enough, they're shorter guys.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't see why it's a shock.
Because that, what's that? That German guy, massive.
Oh, Marcus Earle.
Because he was a bit taller, wasn't he, than Ronnie, I think. But he never won. But he was a massive.
But then look at that guy I posted the other day on my Facebook, that Dennis Wolf. You look at him, man. He was a taller guy. Mass. His aesthetics were mad. He was unreal. I think his condition was phenomenal. But
he had everything, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, his proportions are insane. But it's crazy because, like you say, the people talk about is Marcus Earle. And then me personally, I've always thought Dennis Wolf was better.
Ronnie Coleman's different league, but people who haven't been crowned that sort of Mr. Olympia type, especially like Lee Priest.
I think the closest we've had to Ronnie Coleman is Samson Dowder. I think if you were to go in terms of body weight, I think structure, they're slightly different. I'd say Samson's got more icy.
Andrew Jack.
Yeah, well, this is going to be it. I was talking to someone about this earlier. With Samson Dowder winning the Olympia, is this going to change the look of who wins now? Who's going to be in the top 6? Because personally, I can see people like Haddy and Derek dropping down now. And I can see people like Andrew Jack, like Justin Shire, for example. Once he nails it and he gets it right, he will be up there. He will be up there.
And with your predictions as well, you're not that far off, are you?
Not normally. No, I know people hate that, but
some doubters and a bit of,
But yeah, it's one of them. Like, don't get me wrong, like Haddy, because he's so he's so complete, he will be up there challenging. Well, I do think it's going to change now.
Yeah,
I do. But again, this is where anomalies come in. And when Keon Pearson gets into that men's open,
here we go.
It's going to be a very different story because he's got the lines of the taller guys and a shorter physique, and it just makes him look in and out. He looks way more 3D than most. I dread to think what that guy would look like with an extra 25, 30 pounds on him. He would look insane.
212 now.
Yeah, he's 212 at the moment. Right, yeah, okay. So yeah, but yeah, he's we're literally in a podcast, mate.
Hello, mate. Yes, it is an interview podcast. I'll keep it in it anyway.
Yeah, I called that.
Yeah,
I said to Tony that happened. Yeah.
Anyway, right. So 212. He's going to come from. Is he? Where's he coming from? 212.
He'll go 212 to men's. Like, that's what he's talking about. And whether I don't know. I'm not his manager. I don't know what will happen, but I'd love to see it personally because I think he's got the best genetics on the planet. I don't think anyone's got better genetics than him. He is an absolute phenomenon.
Some freaks as well. Like now, obviously, C-Bum is gone.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to win the classic though? That's going to be hard because who was the guy from?
Do you know, I don't know, honestly. Right? I think this is probably going to be the most controversial things I'm going to say, and it's not. I think now that Chris Bumstead's leaving classic,
semi.
Semi. This because you do get the whole retiring thing. We hear it in every. Well, you always get that one guy that says he's retiring, comes back into it 2 weeks later. But let's say he does. Let's say he's done for good. Yeah. I think then they're going to be stuck. Now they're going to have to look for a new poster boy. So I think when the likes of Danny Hester was before, like obviously going on to Breon Ainsley and stuff like that. Yeah. Obviously the winner was different. Then obviously they found their man in Chris Bumstead. And obviously you look at the guys around him. Apart from Mike Summerfield, he was probably the odd one out really because of height. But personally, I'd have said him as the next guy. Yeah. I think he's phenomenal. But I have a strange feeling they're going to go back to not knowing what they're really looking for again. But this is where it comes interesting because I now believe this gives Terence Ruffin a chance. If Terence Ruffin comes back in, I think
that's a good call.
Best poser on the planet. I don't think anyone beats him in posing. Physique-wise,
we were watching him the other day, weren't we, at the gym? Yeah.
And physique-wise, phenomenal. He's absolutely phenomenal. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a couple of years where they're sort of seeing. But then look at some of the Brazilian guys that are coming through. The lad who won, I think it was last night. Julian something.
Yeah, because I've seen him on Instagram.
But his condition, man. Oh my God. I honestly thought he was actually going to be penalised a little bit for being in that condition with Classic. Because you look at 212, they normally are the most diced out of the categories. It just has been that way. Because obviously with 212 on a short frame, it's to make you look as freaky as possible. But with classic, obviously, you don't need to look as grainy. But this guy pulled it off and he looked phenomenal. So whether he does it, whether he's got the size, I don't know.
That is phenomenal.
But yeah.
But getting back to the sort of like the off season, sort of don't gain too much weight. You've got obviously more to get off.
Yeah.
But I think that is definitely an old way to do it, and I think nowadays, I think what you said, it's a bit better than doing it that way and then do it the new way sort of thing. Yeah. Be sensible.
Yeah.
Basically.
Don't get me wrong. It's like I say, like I will keep repeating myself with it. Anomalies, you will get them. You will have that one person who does need to put all that weight on.
Yeah.
But I'd say 9 times out of 10, you don't need to. At the end of the day, like there's studies out there proven that males work better at a leaner rate of body fat. If it's in studies and it's been scientifically proven, why would you go against it? Everything like, especially like in my sort of field of bodybuilding, obviously you do get your enhanced, you do get your natural.
Yeah.
Again, you look in studies, testosterone does not work as well when you're in a higher percentage of body fat. If you're in a lower percentage of body fat, it works better. And isn't it strange? Because if you just correlate it to fertility, guys who are more overweight struggle with fertility more than guys that are in shape. So how is it suddenly people lose their heads with the other? Because I can't work that out, because it literally, it does intertwine with one another. So
that is very good actually, because when I was obviously a larger bloke, obviously with my son, been trying for 7 years, I lost 2 stone. And then, not saying that was the result.
Yeah, of course, there's been other,
that could be testosterone.
It's going to be a variable. It's going to be a variable. Obviously, there's a lot to fertility. There's a lot to bodybuilding. It's not purely just going to be body fat. Obviously, it is a variable to something that can help improve. But like I mean, from what me and Charlie spoke about, I think he basically said that he'll be happy if I'm sitting between 220, 230, which again will be PB either way for me. That'll be my heaviest. Obviously, I've said to him, obviously my biggest concern will always be to blow my gut out. And
you want to keep that slim.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know that a lot of that comes through food. I know it's through the overexertion of food and your stomach distends.
Well. You need that on point. You need that. That's the most important
that's exactly
thing, really.
it.
Apart from obviously food, and if that's not working, then nothing else does, is it?
There you go. So, digestion's a massive thing. That's one thing I say to all my clients. I prefer them to have their digestion in check. That's one thing I like to bestow upon them. Especially, I mean, I've been there. I mean, I remember going through bloods 3-4 years ago now. I went to like a private blood letter in Nottingham, and he picked up that my body lacked in protease, and protease is one of the main enzymes to digest protein, and it's one of the pivotal enzymes that digest protein. And it's funny because ever since I got that in check, I was probably only putting on 3-4 pound lean mass a year, and ever since I've got that in check over 3 years, I only look how much I put on.
Mate, chicken and rice.
And I'm not saying again that is the one thing that's done it, but it's another variable you add into a lower body fat. Synergy. You get everything in a perfect synergy. It works.
Grow.
So,
Right, talking about that as well, I think we should talk about, are you competing next year?
I will indeed, yes.
Oh, competing next year.
3 shows next year I want to do one, I think, can't remember the exact dates. Basically, it's one on the back end of September.
Yeah.
I want to rewrite the London show. Yeah. And then that'll be
a very good show, actually.
Yeah.
All good guys.
And then 2 weeks after that, going Britain's finals. If all goes well, I'll qualify, everything like that. But
big year again.
Yeah. So
I thought he was taking off for some reason, but then it could be someone else. I thought he was taking a year off, and then
no, I think it was David Stubberfield. I think he's taking a year off, isn't he?
Yes, he's taking.
Yeah.
What about your coach Charlie? Is he compete next year?
Do you know, I don't know, to be honest.
Was he not? Or was it Jake? No, I'm not sure. No, I think Jake's competing next year. I don't know whether Charlie's taken it out.
Sure. I know Charlie was talking about having an off season at one point. Similar reason to me, just he needed to put on a bit of mass, which was originally going to be the idea, but through what we did in the rebound phase, I kind of like got into a decent place. So
it's be a bit of a tan, Jack. That's a bit of a tan. Get on stage. That's it.
Yeah.
So when are your clients competing then? Your 2 from here?
It'll be the 31st of March next year, and that'll be Birmingham, I believe. So, yeah. But I'm so looking forward to it. It's surreal. It feels more surreal having a client going on stage rather than myself. But I can actually understand where like coaches come from now when they when the excitement they get when they see people go on stage. I can't wait, man. Like obviously they got a good network of support going as well. I know there's going to be a few of us from the gym going.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Oh man, it's going to be so good. Obviously, I've said to both. I've said the same thing to myself when I competed first show, and I think it goes for anyone. Your first show win or lose, it doesn't really matter that much. It's your first show
on it,
because you don't even know. Even if you win your first show, it doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, you know what, they'll do another show, because not everyone gets that bug. So I do think that first show is a bit of a feeler to whether you actually do want it. And obviously, if they got a good result, they probably would be a bit more inclined. But then, having said that, I do feel that with the mentality that Jason and Matt both have, I think if they didn't get a result they want, I do think they'd actually go back in.
Mindset as well plays a massive part on.
And that's one thing they both have.
Like training like bodybuilder and then getting on stage, I think it's the mentality you need. And obviously people around you.
Yeah.
Who believe in you as well, who want to see you succeed and stuff as well. And that's hopefully what happened to me. I'll get on stage, smash it out, and then go on to the next one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hope you do, mate, because honestly, I think
it feels like I'm going to go in deep water with things what I don't really know of. But I think in life, you've just got to go with your gut feeling. And
I mean, I've done a few sports. I'm sure you've done a few sports as well. But I can safely say nothing has compared to getting on stage doing bodybuilding. Nothing is compared to that feeling. It's you know, I know it's a funny one as well, because I know like a lot of people turn and say, like, oh, is it nerve-wracking when you get on stage with all the people? And honestly, I'm going to say no. And people are like, oh, really? What, you're that confident? No, really, it's because you got the floodlights that blind you in the eyes when you look out. You can't see anyone anyway. Like you see a few little, like you maybe see like the tops of judges' heads or whatever. That's about it. You can't see no one. You just hear noise.
Who's that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's awesome. It is.
I think Matt. I know Matt more than obviously Justin and that. But when we went to your show, you know, it was only an idea in his head, wasn't it? Really, and then fast forward, it's like, oh, you're competing now, But it's like, on, mate.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. I think
he's 48 as well. He's got a happy animal.
I like his mentality as well. Like he knows he's got a couple of areas he needs to work on, but I think anyone in bodybuilding should really be focused on the areas you need to bring up more than like your strengths. If you're just going to focus on your strengths and you're going onto the stage just saying weaknesses year after year after year after year, you're not improving. You're not going
to get it anywhere. Right?
You know, that to me, that's going backwards. But I like the way Matt thinks. He does know he's got a couple of areas to improve on and stuff like that. But it's not stopping him from going into this. No. So
his first show, and it would be Justin's first show as well.
Yeah, Jason.
So what? Jason. Justin was here a minute ago training legs. You know what I mean? Might put that in there as well, him screaming. Jason, right. So what is Jason's background to this then? Has he been training for long? Because I don't really know.
No, as I remember, so when me and him first spoke about the whole coaching thing, we actually met at the coffee shop, the Costa at the petrol station near Shell. Yeah, we went there, had a drink, and that we just sort of talked. And honestly, at first it was more just sort of he wants to get in shape, everything like that. Pretty sure he said to me he'd been sort of training for like 2-3 years, had time off and got back into it and stuff like that. And then once we started seeing a bit of progress, obviously I think that's when he got that little bit of a bite behind him. And obviously we had that chat about competing. Obviously Martin's doing his training, I'm helping with his diet and everything like that. And but I mean, Jesus Christ, man! Like I mean,
6'3",
he's got to be a good 6'3", 6'4", yeah. But I mean, I was watching him train the other day, and you think this year alone he's dropped 35, 36 pounds this year.
And he shaved his head, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I saw that the other day.
I mean, when you watch him train, losing that amount of weight and training the way he is, how intense is just, it's crazy. I couldn't train that hard.
He seems like he's locked in every time. I don't really speak to him much, but every time I see him, he's like
in the zone, mate. Yeah, he's brilliant. I haven't got to be on his back for nothing. So it's good. He's one of them people I can just sort of check-in comes across at the weekend. I know pretty much 9 times out of 10. Here we go, result. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Yeah, happy days. So it's all good. With Jason, it's just sort of making sure he's in a good place. I like to keep his head in the game and everything. But again, he does that himself. So yeah,
easy, innit?
Yeah.
Well, not easy. Do you know what I mean? But coaching as well. Like I can't imagine me being a coach. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a lot to go into it as well. Especially you have a lot of clients. Like Adam, obviously, come on here as well. He's got loads of clients, but you know, he's sort of like got taught, and now he's teaching other people to be successful as well. Yeah. Hats off to you, mate. Honestly,
it's one of them. Like, I mean, it is something I wanted to do sort of 2-3 years ago, but I didn't feel I had the knowledge behind me to do it, and I'm in that position where I'm confident enough to sort of give out what knowledge I feel I can.
You never know, do you?
I'm not one to speak up if I don't know. I'm not one of these people who just talk and have no evidence to back it. It's stupid. You know, it's more detrimental to yourself. You know, I'd rather be able to speak about something and have it backed. So, you know.
I think we should talk about probably top talk about some supplements, top 3 supplements as a sort of a newbie coming into the gym. What would you recommend?
You
know, if someone can't come to you and was like, right, I need to lose weight, whatever.
Yeah.
So what routine would you give them?
Honestly, I think one supplement, again, I've sort of, again, it's like I say to people, like at the end of the day, I'll always put like a supplement plan for clients. At the end of the day, their suggestions, I understand financially it's a bit different for everyone out there. Obviously, you'll get what you can and do the best you can. You know, it's a bit tough for people. But digestive enzymes, for one, I think are a very good thing. And I will go and say this until I'm blue in the face. Have a good digestive system, because believe me, when you're trying to add that bit of weight to your body, you know, you're trying to gain more, keeping a higher calorie surplus, keeping your body in an anabolic state to grow. You do need a good digestion, because if you're constantly backed up and bloated,
you're not going to get anywhere with it.
Exactly.
It's not going to come out the end, is it?
I think like another one, purely because it has been scientifically proven to work, is creatine. I think, you know, I
think creatine's great.
Yeah, personally, I don't use it myself. But then obviously most people who take stuff like I do don't, because of the reasons that you just don't need to. But for those who are coming into the game,
actually. I did not know that.
Like a lot of performance enhancing drugs, especially for your weight training, if it does heighten your creatine levels anyway. I mean, they'll be sky high, probably like four times over what the
creatine is. Baseline sort of like anybody.
And again, it will still be over. It will definitely still be over through like consumption of red meat, creatine training. You know, they all spike creatine levels, but so again, because that one's proven, I think that's definitely. And then I think, and this probably will be a controversial one.
A bit controversial.
But I'd have to throw a pre-workout in. I don't
mind pre-workout.
You know, if you're in that position where
if you can buy it from a shop, I like it.
Yeah. And if you want to get like that extra 5-10% out of your sessions and stuff like that, you're really trying to get that extra couple of pounds in a year. You need, a bit of extra. And I think as well, you get like some pre-workouts now of nootropics, and you can get into that state of mind where you're so zoned in to training. Defib's got it. What's the other brand? No, I can't think of the other brand now.
No, Mutin? No, what Mutin?
I might say Trained by JP, but I'm not entirely sure that is the one I'm thinking of. But anyway, you get a couple out there of nootropics. And
fully stim pre-workout or non-stim?
Depends on the person, don't it? It does depend on the person.
Does it depend on what you're training as well? Because I've heard a study that if you have high caffeine pre-workout before a leg session, it obviously highs your heart rate too much. So you won't get a good, because obviously it's big muscle at legs.
Yeah, to be honest, that's
what I've heard. I haven't really deep dived into it.
I've not really looked into that, but I will say I don't think you'd be wrong, because I've had a couple of sessions where I've had a stronger pre-workout and I just can't train like I normally do.
Recovery time is
I'm just gassed.
You're not getting there because of your heart rate. So fucking
like beating it like quadruple the rate of normal. I think that goes within reason. To be fair, I'd even go as far to say that probably makes sense with a back session as well, because of that. Especially like you look at a lot of back machines now, they're chest supported.
Yes.
So once even with or without a pre-workout, you're getting heavy on a chest supported, like a back row, for example. You're putting a lot of pressure on your chest, your lungs. So
and there's so many pre-workouts now. So many pre-workouts nowadays.
It's an absolute plethora of them. But
I'll put it out there now. The worst one is AK-47.
What, as in taste, or?
It's just terrible, mate. Honestly, I've took it once, and when I looked it up, it was like top 50 worst pre-workouts. I was like, oh shit. So do research before you take pre-workouts.
Yeah,
it may work for some people, but
with anything, mate, do your research.
And within 20 minutes, I thought I'm going home.
Yeah, I'll tell you, going back to clients, actually, one guy I will give praise for is James Hummerstone. His knowledge of supplementation is absolutely phenomenal, and I'll tell you what, people should really take a leaf out of his book, because again, even though I've helped him out with like supplement planning and sort of helped him out with like the basics and everything, he's gone out of his way to look at every single supplement in detail. You know what I mean? Like
he's a bit of a
the knowledge he holds as well. Like I think I've said to him, I think it's a career he could get into through like supplementation and healthcare, because it's phenomenal. It is very, very good. He is very, very intelligent.
David as well. David's
very good at it. That's the thing. That's why I don't understand, because like I think this is where some coaches do get caught out, because coaches will sort of say, oh yeah, take this, take that, and they'll be able to give a basic. And then you'll find that you do get the odd outlier with clients, like, say David and James. They look into things and they study. Well, eventually, you know what I mean? Like, I've had it myself. I've had it where, like, I've been with a coach before, and I've struggled to be with a coach where I was kind of not like catching out on purpose, but in a sense where, like, I've been reading, and you know, at the end of the day, a study, if it's genuinely proven, and these guys have got PhD level, like, certification behind them and stuff like that. I mean, who am I to argue against that, right? You know, but it's not to say they're going to be 100% right about everything, but they clearly got a good understanding.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and a lot of the guys I watch as well, like Paul Barnett, Kurt Havens, Todd Lee, they're absolute experts in their fields through Scientology.
What they do in that.
Yeah.
It's a lot more science behind bodybuilding nowadays. A lot more than it was in the 80s, 90s. There's obviously internet and stuff and supplements and stuff. So, but yeah, top 3 supplements, I think that's bang on, to be honest. Especially creatine for me.
Yeah.
And I think it works for each and every person differently. But
and I will say, actually, the only reason I'm not putting protein powder in there is because of a lot of the crap that comes with it. I am a firm believer that protein should be sort of consumed through whole foods.
Yes,
I do think you get more out of whole foods. You get more natural minerals and vitamins. Yeah. You're more likely to get your intake of micros and macros through whole food rather than having a drink. That's just my opinion.
I remember the days where it was like after training, you have 50 gram carb, 50 gram protein in one of them fucking glass shakes. I think that's great.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Obviously, like when you have like,
but it's not, was it?
Yeah, it's like when you have like a post-workout meal. Obviously, you have quick protein shake.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I won't be replacing like any of my meals with a protein shake or anything like that. I just wouldn't. But
it's a good for a quick snack, well not snack, but supplementation.
It's quick and easy to get down. It's easily digestible. Get straight to the system. Chicken and rice. Yeah, exactly. get something Rice Krispie based in, spike the insulin, get all the nutrients shuttled to the muscle you've trained. Easy peasy, happy days.
Insulin, fucking hell.
Yeah, that's a minefield, that one. That's a good topic.
That's for another fucking episode, I think.
yeah, that is a minefield.
Yes, we probably will speak about like other subjects in the next hopefully podcast. You're going to come on, Jack. But this has been I think it's been a great one, mate. Just quick and easy, innit?
Yeah.
Come in, tell everyone what you're up to nowadays, because I can't. Well, obviously you had the biggest views on my YouTube channel. It was madness, right? It was on this many views, and overnight it just jumped like 120 odd views. I'm like, so obviously the content we created on that day, that's what my channel that's what I wanted to get back on there, really.
Yeah.
I do believe that next year is going to be your year.
I hope so, mate. I hope so. I think it's like I've said to people. I honestly, whether people like this or not, you ain't going to see much of me when I'm in prep. No. You won't see much of me. I'm not going to be. If I will go in the shadows. I'm not one for clout. I don't.
We can probably talk about Instagram as well. The next one.
Yeah.
Oh, you cannot get on that platform.
No, it just gets suspended all the time. No, I'll just give up, but whatever. But it's just not affecting me. I'm still getting clients through advertising through Facebook and everything like that.
So I'll drop all those links in here, Facebook and all that stuff and that. So if you ever fancy a personal trainer or a coach, shall we say?
Yep.
He's available. You work out of Ironworks gym as well.
Yes.
So 2025 could be your year. Could be your year.
So I've got a couple of things coming up as well next year. So they've all been left in the background. I don't really like talking about like future plans purely just because it doesn't happen in time or when I want it to. It might sort of backfire and I look like an idiot, but being quiet about it at the moment. It's all rolling ahead. It's all going forward. So 2025 should be a good year. And I will say for sure, as I say, people will probably not hear much or see much of me through prep. I fucking will be competing for gold. That is for sure. I will be competing for gold this year.
Your mindset and mentality, I think a lot of people agree on as well. I know a lot of people agree on this.
Yeah.
You've got the right mindset of a bodybuilder.
That's the thing,
now
mate.
Becoming a coach as well, which is a massive step.
Yeah.
Massive step. So
there's absolutely nothing wrong in someone backing themselves.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it, but obviously getting a result to go with it does make you all the more commendable. So that will be the goal.
Right. So that is a quick little chat with Jack Earle, a returning guest on the podcast. I'll probably release it every days.
Yeah.
Might drop it tonight. I don't know yet.
Yeah, see how you feel.
But if they watch this now, I think, is he going to drop it tonight? I don't know. But thank you very much for obviously Martin Green for lending us the space in the gym.
You good old boy.
Little boy. Ironworks Gym, and thanks for Jack coming on.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah. To the next one.
Adios.
I don't know what we're going to do on this one. Yeah, do it.
Oh,
You got the best one this time.
It's all right. Do it. Yeah. Do it.